Thanks to our great sponsors, Jack Burford Chevrolet, ExpressRoofing.net, Cumberland Valley, National Bank, CSEP, State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goble Agent, Luxury Pet Services, Equipment, Sales and Rentals, May Marketing, KYMedia.net, Real Life Community Church, Time Warner Cable, and Madison County Schools.
Welcome to the Coach Mark Center Show. Hi, I'm Samantha Burford with Madison County School Sports Television. We want you to watch the Coach Mark Center Show.
We look forward to seeing you on Madison County School Sports Television.
Okay, that's it.
Welcome back to the Coach Mark Center Show. I am Samantha Burford. We're here at Jack Burford Chevrolet. They're Coach Center's official game sponsor for your coach's show, and we are really happy once again to have head coach Mark Centers with us. And I'm happy to announce that the Madison Central Indians are 2-0. I bet you're more happy than me.
Well, possibly relieved is more of a appropriate thing. It's kind of how it is in coaching. You get the win and you feel relief, and then you start worrying about the next opponent. So
right.
It's next one up pretty quickly for us in coaching business. So, but yeah, blessed to be 2-0. Defense is playing the lights out. They're really playing well, and you know, in some ways carrying us right now, and just very happy about that.
Yeah, let's dig right in there. Defense, what about them? They're outstanding. Both games, they've really been on fire.
Well, playing very well, and you know, again, you know, kind of that next man up mentality. We've got a lot of guys playing. You know, we have guys stepping up and making plays where they need to. And again, you know, I can't give enough credit to, you know, our defensive staff led by Coach Kirk and Coach Tipton and Coach Taylor, coach our defensive line. Coach Tony McCombs, that played at Eastern several years ago, is helping with outside linebackers, and then Paul Warford and Travis Candy with our defensive backs, and Coach Kirk, of course, is our defensive coordinator. So, you know, those guys are doing a great job, and you know, more importantly, the kids are doing a fantastic job of taking their coaching and being prepared to play and playing hard and playing fast. So, you know, hopefully we can be blessed with a little health here going forward and keep it rolling.
I was going to say, it's been a wonderful start being 2-0 as a fan and part of the media. It's nice to go into it this early in the season without a loss. Knock on wood, as always. Not a lot of injuries other than Hazelwood. I mean, granted, we had one early on with him that Saturday of the Roy Kidd Bowl. I do want to mention your attire tonight. I told him I was going to go straight into the shirt. We are repping a different fashion today. Now we've got our Madison Central hat on, but of course we do want to give a shout out. And I am really excited that you're wearing it because, I mean, that is your big money raiser. You guys got some wonderful support from Buffalo Wild Wings.
Absolutely. You know, Buffalo Wild Wings being one of our major sponsors and really the title sponsor for the bowl. We've got Meyer and Eagle Finance on the back as well represented. You know, three of our real key sponsors for the Roy Kidd Bowl, and lots of folks step up, but you know, it's hoping to give them a little bit of color here tonight, and just you know,
I think it's fantastic.
It helped that it rained a little bit while ago, but that's all good. But no, they you know, did a great job. Serge did a great job with the Roy Kidd Bowl T-shirts, and every team, you know, the neat thing, one of the cool things we talk a lot about what sponsors do for the bowl and a lot about, you know, the ins and outs of the bowl. But, you know, of course, I hope that we're making the bowl special for our players, the kids that are playing, not only our kids, but the kids of other schools that are coming and playing, because, you know, all of our middle schools, each middle school team, the players got these shirts, both our feeder schools and the visiting teams that came in, and of course all the high school participants got the shirts, and a few left over from that, and Buffalo Wild Wings feeds the varsity teams after the games, you know, and the trophy and all of those different pieces that go in, and then the middle school players get a wristband so that they can get back into the game that night. So we're really trying to make sure that our players and our teams that come into the Roy Kidd Bowl are taken care of as well, because while it is a huge fundraiser and we want to make it and build it into a community event and something that many people in our community want to get involved in, and hopefully restaurants are benefiting, and lots of others during the day of the bowl there. We're not going to be able to put on a good bowl without good teams coming in and great programs coming in. So we want to make it as good as we can for the players and coaches. So
Right.
without folks like Buffalo Wild Wings, we can't do that.
Couldn't do it. And Eagle Finance and Myers,
That's
actually.
right. Absolutely.
And if you weren't all mic'd up,
Yeah.
we'd have a little fun and have you do a little spin and.
Yeah, you want to keep that camera. That camera's really expensive. You don't want to break that camera.
We like to have fun here on the show. Absolutely, of course. So that would be kind of fun. You wouldn't break the camera, but anyway, let's just keep moving on. Coach, let's talk about Zach Harden.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about he had some good passes.
Yeah, and when we go back and look at the film, Zach was 11 for 21 the other night for right at 200 yards, and the big play of the game, what seemed to be the play that everybody was talking about, was the deep pass there at the end of the game to put
right
us
over to that right side.
Yep, put us in much better field position and get us down there to where we could run out the clock. And of course, Keenan ran a great route, and Zach put the ball right on the money, and it was a big throw, and several big throws. A good night at 11 for 21, and like I say, right at 200 yards. But when we go back and we look at the film and we see some of the routes that we could have cleaned up, and had we run the route just a little bit better, or made a little bit better read there from our receiver, and the combination of the receiver reading the route as well as Zach, we could have, with another one or two or even three completions, he could have been up close to 450 or more. I mean, it could have really been a huge night. But hey, we'll take it. We're getting better offensively. We're growing and getting better, and definitely, some of those pass plays were really key in moving the chains and keeping drives going, and it's a team effort. It's always a team effort, because the line's got to block and he's got to put the ball on the money, and then we've got to finish the play with the receiver making a catch. So it takes all 11 always.
Keenan Miller had several nice catches, and I do want to mention that he made a comment in the paper that your offense is a work in progress.
I think that's fair.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I think that's very fair. I think the kids see that, and I think as they continue to press forward, they understand the work that we need to do, and they also understand what they see in practice every day and how they're going through practice every day. They know that we have the ability to be very explosive, and the truth of the matter is, a guy like Keenan's he's one of those guys that got a threat to score every time he touches the ball.
Yes.
And he did a great job on running aggressively. We caught the screen pass and got behind his blockers, and our line got downfield well and led block for him on the screen play that he scored on. And then, of course, again, the route that he ran was right on the money on the deep ball there at the end of the game. And he showed us last year. We had him playing more in the slot last year. And he showed us last year that he was more comfortable maybe as a receiver, so that's kind of been the concept of moving him out wide to the wide receiver spot. And at 6'1" and 185 pounds or so, with the speed that he has, he's a tough matchup out there.
Right.
And so hopefully that can continue to pay dividends. People are going to start doubling him, and that's going to open up other folks to be able to make plays. And hopefully we can get those guys making plays, which will bring attention off of him and allow Keenan to get free too. So big night for him.
Right. Both your games in the first quarter, it seemed like the offense struggled to get something going.
Yeah.
Your thoughts,
Well,
looking back at both games.
know-
What will you do different this third game?
We're working on that in practice. Again, today, Wednesday, was our really offensive focused day, and the thing that I feel like that we're really doing right now is being able to practice at game speed. We're trying to push the pace a little bit more in practice, and being able to adjust. And there's a feeling out process really with our offense. It's because a lot of times we're, for whatever reason, teams, we'll see something on film and teams will change what they're doing defensively when they come and play us. And so, and there are some teams out there that you see them on film and you know exactly what to expect, and this is their defense and that's what they're going to do, and things. And then there are others that are a little bit more, flexible and things like that. And I've seen both of those type of teams defenses have success. I've seen both types be extremely successul. But I think that feeling out process maybe a little bit at the beginning of the game probably contributes to that. But again, it's very, very young. It's a season. It's very early in the season, and we were talking off camera about having film and having enough film on teams to be able to really kind of see what they're wanting to do. Right. Knox Central was a team that my coaching staff hadn't faced before, and we know what we saw on film, but those were scrimmage films, and they're going to do some things differently in a scrimmage than a game. The new coach at Dunbar, brand new coach, brand new system, things like that. So seeing how he was going to adjust to what we do, and then again, coming up this week, we've got Bourbon County, and they had the 2 scrimmages and only 1 game so far, so they're still very much developing what they're going to do. So with us, the scouting report is a major piece of the puzzle for getting our teams prepared to play. But we are, and we take pride in being malleable enough to adjust on the fly and be able to change things when we can. And that's also the benefit of having some guys like Zach and Keenan and Jabari and several other guys who have played a lot of football, and they're veteran players. And even on our line, Danny Thompson and Nathan Britt, 2 seniors, and both of those guys, I mentioned before, Nathan Britt, a Governor Scholar, that kid, he's going to be able to help you adjust. And the Lunchbox and some of those guys, they played a lot of football and they're able to adjust, and that in itself helps us get going a little bit. Perhaps maybe get a little bit stronger, hopefully, as the game goes on.
Right.
Of course, it sure wouldn't hurt my feelings to see us bust out of the gate and score early on somebody. So
early in the first quarter. Let's stop waiting to the second
we're
quarter.
getting to work on that. Believe me, we all want that.
Let's open it up a little quicker.
Yeah, we all want that for sure.
I'm sure. I was going to say, there's nobody on your team that doesn't want to do that a little sooner.
That's right.
Okay, let's remind everybody before we talk about other offensive players. You know that all the football dads and grandparents, they tend to know this, but maybe some of the football moms don't always know this, and you're probably wondering where I'm going with this question. But remind people when exactly you get the footage. You typically get 2 weeks worth of footage, right? Of scrimmages or games, and you guys get that how soon before you play on Friday night?
Yeah, I mean, basically it's a standard agreement in coaching among our Coaches Association that you typically trade the previous 2 films. And there's
sometimes that doesn't always happen.
Well, it doesn't always happen, and sometimes the film quality is not always the best or whatever, and things like that do happen.
They might send you video like
yeah. Some places you're like, man, can you just buy a tripod or something? But
you think they do that on purpose?
But
I do.
I don't know about that.
You can't really say that. I can say that.
Well, most of the guys most of the guys
pretty
in the
upfront,
coaching
profession,
because
they don't want you
upfront.
to do that to them.
That's right, and it's going to come back to you in the end, and and we've been blessed, man. A lot of the guys that I've made friends with in the coaching profession and stuff, and that we compete against and things like that, we respect them, and hopefully they respect us. So those things are pretty well taken care of. But yeah, I mean that's kind of the procedure, and there are guys like myself and Coach McKee and some of the other ones, that I would, if you how many do you want to trade? You want to trade 2? Fine, we'll trade 2. You want to trade 10? Fine, we'll trade 10. Whatever you want to trade, and huddle and things like that have really changed the game.
Yes.
I was talking with somebody the other day about just how it's changed with me. I can remember my mom and dad early in my coaching career. My mom and dad bought a dual deck VCR where I could put tape in one side and hit play, and it would automatically record to the other side.
Other one.
And I thought that was just the greatest thing in
You were
history.
Big time.
Oh yeah.
You were big time.
And then I figured out how to hook multiple VCRs together. So I had a stack of 4 VCRs on top of that one. So I would hit play and record.
And
so
give each one to a coach?
And then we had 5 copies made. Now it still took however long that tape was to dub, but and I know Coach Miller used to laugh at me when I talk about it because he wouldn't talk about trading reel to reel film and things like that when he was first starting. So Yeah, the video side of it and the technology side of it's really changed, and just advancing from that to what we have now, where you basically pull a disc out of a camera and pop it in and upload it to Huddle, and within
Right.
minutes,
You have
and
it.
not having to drive to Timbuktu the
Is that
next
what they
morning.
used to do? They would take a tape and actually drive it to the school.
Oh yeah, many times. I was Coach Raines's designated film trader.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, one of my wife's and I's first date, we drove to Meade County about 2:30 in the morning because I'd messed up a film trade and I had to go back and redo it. So that was not.
She probably hated
that
you
was
for
not-
that. Like,
I have the best wife in the world. She knew what she was getting into. Our first date, we
that
scouted.
that set the tone right there.
Our
didn't it?
first date, and she probably embarrassed me saying this. Our first date, we went and scouted 2 Lexington teams in a bowl game over at Lexington Catholic, and then drove to Mount Sterling to scout Montgomery County and Paul Lawrence Dunbar. And
you're like, can I buy you a hot dog at the concession stand?
Well, she had to buy for me. I didn't. I'm poor. I'm coaching. I didn't have any money, so thankfully she did. So I outkicked my coverage pretty good there. But no, when she went scouting with me the first night there, and then jumped in the truck and ran trade film with me, I kind of thought, yeah, I better.
You might wanna keep
this
her.
might be the right one.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's a fantastic story.
Yeah.
Never knew that as long as we've been doing this.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people, like I said, a lot of moms, they typically don't know those kinds of things. Their son may have started out in little football, little pee-wee
Right.
football, and then moved into middle school. They don't do that kind of stuff there. So once you
Right.
get into high school, you sometimes go, how do they scout out those games from those other teams? It's all electronic now.
It is, yeah, and again, with Huddle and everybody having access to it, and you can literally trade films with the click of an email or click of a tray exchange on Huddle. It's really changed things a lot. So you can get film on people when you need it, and it's still there's still guys out there that do a pretty good job of protecting their film, but it's out there.
Yeah. Or show you certain games that they didn't run certain plays, or
Yeah. No, there's still
Let's
people
just send in
editing
this one.
film. There's still people editing film. I'd say no problem.
I would bet. Or possibly sending you. Are they dated? So are they possibly sending you one from last season? Or?
You can pretty well tell off the
can.
timestamps. You can pretty well tell if it's a new film or not.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So that was our little education session right there. How
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah.
I think that's important because, there's always somebody out there asking that question.
Sure.
It's not always just me, right? Okay. Back to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Landon White.
Yeah. Landon had a good night. Kickoffs back through the end zone. Really had a good job, and had a shot at a field goal there nearing the end, and of course we're kind of getting things back together now. Of course, Hunter was our holder, and so KJ kind of won that position.
KJ Long?
Yeah.
Okay.
He kind of won the position of holder. Landon kind of trusts him, and we, and literally Coach Kirk was holding open tryouts for a holder, on Tuesday.
And
at
KJ
practice.
said, "I want to do it."
And he was one of the guys that stepped up, and honestly, we had three or four guys that stepped up and did a really nice job, and it just seemed as though Landon was more comfortable with KJ, and we'll get that. That snap hold kick has got to be automatic, and Hendricks, our snapper, and Hunter and Landon had so many reps that they had gotten very good, very comfortable, and
Trusting
we'll
each
get
other.
that. That's right, and it's huge on that because
Yes,
everything is
it's-
timing,
Yes.
and we'll get there with that. KJ did a great job on the extra points, getting them down, and the field goal was just a little off, a small bobble, and that's why that part of the game is so important. It is
Yes.
so detailed and so small. I mean, just a fraction of an inch, a fraction of a
set it.
second.
Yeah. That goes wrong.
Yeah, and so that happens, and it's part of the game, and we'll continue to get better at it. But just real proud of the job, because quite honestly, I'm not sure KJ had ever held before. I didn't even think to ask that question of Coach Kirk before I left, but I don't know that he had ever done that job
Right.
before, and at least consistently, and for him to come in and put 2 extra points on the tee just like he did, and
Yes.
and then being able to go in there and be ready to go on that field goal, and we'll get it right. We'll get better, because
Right.
that's a huge part of our not only our special teams, but our team as a whole. It's a huge weapon to have, and they're working hard, and we'll get it right.
Well, it's really an exciting part of the game, too, because typically, when Landon steps out there, we as fans go, okay, it doesn't matter how far back he is. Typically,
Yeah.
it's going in. But now with the change of the center, like you said, it's
Yeah.
last week was a testing period, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But typically, as a fan, you're like, you really want him as a fan.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see it back because I
Yeah.
want to see how long. Okay, can he do this one?
Yeah, well,
Typically,
and
he can.
last week in practice, he nailed one from 55, and I mean, just absolutely nailed it. And KJ was holding, and it was during our walkthrough, and he hit it with plenty to spare.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's got the leg. We know he does.
Yes, yes. So he's going to have a bright future.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
he's going to play in college somewhere.
Yeah, I feel like he'll certainly get an opportunity somewhere. You know, it's just got to find, you know, like all of our guys that have the aspirations to play in college, and we have several, you know, finding the right fit and making sure
Right.
it's the right opportunity, both, you know, financially and educationally
Yes.
for them and their families and stuff. And there's a lot that goes into that, but I have confidence that he'll
Right.
find a place.
Right. I agree. Couldn't agree more. Let's talk about, I want to make sure I say it right, Gavin Holberg.
Yeah,
All right. So, Junior, he didn't play in your opener game,
right.
but obviously he had a fantastic night Friday night.
He did. He really came in and ran well, and he had some family things that he was taking care of this summer, so it gave him a little bit late start. So he really it kind of backed up his preparation days and things like that. So he was available for us at the Roy Kidd Bowl, but it was just, you know, he just wasn't quite, you know, ready. And again, it's kind of something that I told Nathan with the paper. You know, the situation called for him. You
Yes.
know, and he's a guy that can do a lot of things well. He's a guy. Gavin Holberg and Evan Harris are great examples of why the JV program is so important.
Okay.
And why the way that we're running our freshman program is so important, because Coach Roof and his freshman staff are doing a great job of trying to get as many kids on the field during the freshman as they possibly can. Now, you know, there's things that dictate that, and certainly, you know, it's not a situation where just, you know, everybody can play all the time, and that's football. You have to earn your time, and
Right.
that's part of the deal.
But as a freshman,
But as a freshman, they're trying their best to get as many kids opportunities to get on the field as they can.
some experience.
And so that they will, you know, and number one, we want those kids to stay with the program. And so, you know, and again, you know, those
that
guys
does make
kinda,
sense because if they're
it's
sitting on the
huge.
bench the whole time,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
bored.
it's
they're-
tough. It's
they're like,
tough.
why am I doing this?
The game's hard enough as it is, and,
Yes.
and so, you know, the opportunity to earn time and kind of grow, and that's, you know, all of our kids have the opportunity to earn time, and we talk with our kids, you know, a lot. You know, our assistant coaches from freshman level up are I think really good at communicating with the player. When the player comes and says, hey coach, what can I do better, they'll sit down and say, hey, you can do this, you can do that, or and try our best, you know, and you know, and that's the thing about football, again, that makes football so great, in my opinion. You know, with 80 people on the team, all 80 can have a role, and not everybody can be the starting whatever.
Right.
But everybody can fill their role at their time, and Gavin Holberg is a great example of that. You know, he was ready when he was called on. He knew his job. He knew exactly what we were expecting out of him, and when he got his chance, he went out there and made the best
and
of
he
it.
showed it. Yes.
And you know, and there's a lot to be said about fresh legs in the fourth quarter.
True.
There's
True.
a lot to be said about getting in that power I formation behind Jeremy and Jesse Cox, and
Yes.
and the power that they bring to that. And all of those things pieced in together to let Gavin be successful. But again, you know, Gavin and I mentioned Evan Harris a few minutes ago. You know, both of those guys are guys that really took advantage of the opportunity to get JV reps last year. And at the beginning of the JV season, you know, they were doing their job and doing it okay, but it was just like, okay. But as the season went along, both of them really started to mature and really started to get better as football players. And understand more of what we were looking for out of them. And you know, Gavin ran very well towards the end of the year in our JV, and Evan made a big catch on a Monday night to win the JV game against Southern, and then turned around and caught a slant pass in the varsity game that Friday night. And you know, those type of things, it's encouraging, and it to me it shows that what we're trying to do is working. Because player development is extremely critical in getting these guys an opportunity to play. You know, the larger programs, the Trinities, the St. X's, the Scott Counties, the people who are competing for 6A state championships year in and year out, you know, a lot of times those guys are seniors, or definitely juniors, but seniors before they're ever seeing the field on varsity. You know, maybe perhaps if they've got a real special kid that's a legit D1 type kid, he
Right.
might see the field a little bit earlier as sophomore. But even then, it's you look at it's not a typical thing to see a Trinity or a St. X or a Male playing a sophomore. So, you know, for us to get this program where we want it to be and build, you know, we want to get to the point where that's where we're at. You know, we're playing seniors and juniors consistently at all positions and allow the guys to grow and develop at the proper rate, so that physically they're strong enough, mentally they're strong enough, and they've had a ton of reps to get ready. And when they do get their chance, see them take advantage of it like that.
All right, let's talk about in the fourth quarter. The score was 14-6. There was about 4:50 left in the game.
Uh-huh.
Dunbar came back.
Yeah.
They had a nice little 63-yard run touchdown pass with about 2 minutes and 22 seconds left in the game. Your thoughts? What were you thinking when that happened?
Well, it was a very well set up play, and it was a busted coverage. We were in cover 2, and we were supposed to have safety help over top. You know, Christian Everly had a phenomenal game, absolutely great game. Had a couple of picks and things like that, but the play design was very good. They ran a hitch right in front of Christian, and he had already picked a couple off, and that kind of baited him in to do that. And so our corner felt like he had help over top, which you know he technically should have. But again, it was a great play call, a great play design at that time. And they were able to get behind us on the wheel route there and score. And so yeah, it definitely took my breath away a little bit. But you know, our defense and again, I'm going to do your thing and knock on wood here. Our defense is starting to develop a reputation a little bit. Our defense is starting to develop a way of doing things where they immediately respond to a big play with a big play. And that stop on that 2-point conversion was the biggest play of the night.
It was, wasn't it? And it kind of set the rest of the game. You kind of were like, okay, I think we can do this. We're going to pull this out.
Yep.
Because for a minute, I was right down there on the sidelines, and I thought, oh my gosh. Because, they were going for that 2-point play.
And
got a little nervous.
That can take the wind out of a team's sails really quickly. You know, a play like that after, you know, a game, that's been the thing about our last 2 games. You know, there have been no moments during the game where you could really relax. And that's a good thing, because that's training our guys about playing for 48 minutes. And that's training our guys in how important it is that every single play of those 48 minutes, you've got to be giving everything you got. And again, I'm really, really proud of our guys, our defensive guys, with the way that they've been responding to that, because, you know, typically after a team has made a big play, we've responded with a big play. You know, they're responding to adversity well. We go back to the Knox game when we ended up not getting the ball after the punt. Well, our defense just goes out there and takes it away from them. And then that huge play there, you know, a big pass play down the sideline takes the winds out of you. Well, next thing, and then, you know, 30 seconds later, we're making a huge play in the end zone, you know, stopping that 2-point conversion and giving us a chance to put the ball back in our offense's hands to win. And then carrying that over to the offensive side of the ball and the confidence that our guys are playing with, because the confidence carries over from one side to the other. And that's why I believe that we're really about to bust through the door on offense as well, because, you know, our guys are getting more confident about making plays and then being able to step out there and Gavin run the ball down the field like he did and us block the way we did and hit that big pass play to kind of ice it. That's huge.
You mentioned Everly just a few minutes ago. Obviously, I think he likes playing Dunbar.
He does.
He had an interception last year against Dunbar.
And a fumble return.
Bingo.
He did,
That's something about Dunbar.
Yeah, I gave him a hard time about that. I told him that I was going to make him a schedule just of his own, that every team on the schedule said Dunbar, and he kind of laughed. He thought that was funny.
I think it's a fantastic idea.
But he definitely had a big game. He definitely had a big game, and you know, and he's toughing through some stuff right now. You know, he's got his back's tweaked a little bit, and you know, but he's doing a great job of fighting through, and you know, some days he feels better than others, but he's doing a great job of fighting through.
Health-wise, how is the team? Other than Hazelwood,
we're a team that has been through a scrimmage and 2 tough games, and we're like any team that's been through that right now. We're kind of banged up a little bit in terms of just bruises here and there and things like that, but but nothing, nothing dramatic, nothing to the point of that. Like I say, we've got a lot of guys, that are bruised up and stuff, but they're playing through, and they're football players, but they're becoming football players and toughing through that.
Right.
That's what I like to see. And just to be honest with you, we've had a dang flu bug or something get in us this week, and
it's school started, right?
Yeah. Well, and the timing of that is about right. It's very, very much that type of deal. You could start seeing it a week or 10 days ago, one getting sick here and then another getting sick here, and then it just starts spreading. So we've got a lot of guys. We're trying to be very diligent about disinfecting and trying to be very diligent about
the locker rooms, the weight rooms,
everything, and you're being diligent about the kids, not sharing towels or whatever and things like that. And
then you get into all the MRSA.
I told them take their mouthpieces home and boil them and things like that, and it's going to happen. Like I say, I mean, you look at our attendance in school, and there's already kids that are missing because they're sick and they don't play sports. So it is what it is. But we've got a handful of guys that are battling through some sickness right now, and just real proud of them for continuing to battle.
Especially in this heat.
It's right. It's 90 degrees out there, and you're already feeling bad. That's not fun.
No.
But it takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of
I wouldn't want to do it.
Toughness and grit, as my dad calls it. To come out there feeling bad and still go through, and that's part of life. There's mornings where we all wake up and we have to go to work and we don't feel the best. And there's mornings where one of these days you're going to be a father and have a job, and your kids are going to be
keeping you up all night,
and you're going to wake up sick, and you're still going to have to go to work, and you're still going to have to do what you have to do.
Teaching them a valuable lesson, life lessons.
I truly believe that football is a great teacher of life lessons, and I know that becomes cliche a lot, and all of us football coaches try to throw that around out there, but it's a special game for special people, and I will believe that always.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you as well. And a lot of coaches say the same thing, whether it be soccer, cheerleading. It's teaching them about respecting others, respecting themselves, and time management. It's
all of it.
Athletes really are astonishing. That's the proper word, I guess I want to say, because they really have to do it all.
Right.
And keep their grades up to be able to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're subject to random drug testing. They're subject to grade checks weekly. They're subject to all of those pieces, and representing our school in the way that they do. I think it's important that they do.
Yes.
I give a lot of credit to all the kids. Our band is 200 strong, and our cheerleaders are 40, 50 strong, and one of the best in the country,
in the nation,
the state, the country. And we've got a lot of kids at Madison Central that are doing a lot of really good things, and I hope the focus stays positive on our school, and that people look at these kids, not only our football kids. Obviously, I'm proud of our football kids, but all of our kids, all of our student athletes, all of our kids that are representing our school, whether it's drama or band or anything else.
Can't forget about them, the choir.
That's right. All of those folks, the kids that are really representing our school the way that we want it to be represented, and working hard in the classroom and out. That's the picture of Madison Central.
And you just look, just the other day, I mean, you got a new soccer coach this year at Madison Central. Just last week, they were ranked first in the state.
Exactly.
So exciting things are happening, so that's fantastic.
They're a talented bunch, and,
Yes.
and they play hard. They, of course, Worthy McGuire that played for us a couple years ago, he's done a great job. Jordan Hatcher is one of their young guys that's kind of doing the dual thing. He's kicking for us for our JV and playing soccer, and that's a hard-working bunch of guys, and a very talented group of guys. They're doing well.
You're right. Coach, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, let's dig right into Bourbon County.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back.
Thanks to our great sponsors, Jack Burford Chevrolet, ExpressRoofing.net, Cumberland Valley National Bank, CSEP, State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goble Agent, Luxury Pet Services, Equipment, Sales and Rentals, May Marketing, KYmedia.net, Real Life Community Church, Time Warner Cable, and Madison County Schools.
Hello everyone, I'm Madison County Schools Superintendent Elmer Thomas, and I want to thank you for watching Madison County School Sports Television.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter. Or like us on Facebook, MCS TV. And of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube.
Welcome back to the Coach Mark Center Show. We took a quick break, but we wanted to get right into next week's game. Actually, we're going to say this week's game.
Yeah.
We've been talking about last week's game, but it's Wednesday. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about Friday. So let's talk about Bourbon County. You got your first away football game.
Yeah, Coach Hodge and his staff have done a very nice job up at Bourbon. I think this is his 5th year up there, and they've really, his first 3 years as head coach, they were on a phenomenal run and battled through last year a little bit. Had some young kids on the team and had some really nice playmakers on last year's team with the Bowling kid that was the quarterback and a couple others. And so, coming in here, they had a tough game against Rockcastle County in the Bob Allen Bowl over in Danville last weekend, and I'm sure not the performance that they were looking for. Rockcastle's a really good team this year, a very physical team, and the score I really don't think was very indicative. I really felt like that. Rockcastle obviously played extremely well. I don't think Bourbon may have played as well as what they're capable of playing, and so that kind of led to the score getting a little bit out of hand. I feel like when you look at their players and you look at their rosters, especially in key positions, they are a very talented team. Mm-hmm. And again, we know that coaching staff well, and we know that they're going to coach them up and have them ready to play. And again, I feel like as a 4A team, I think they have a chance to be a very strong 4A team by the end of the year.
So you're basically telling us it's going to be tough Friday night.
Well, right now they've all been tough, and it's like we said earlier, we'd like to be able to get out early and get some points on the board and get a little breathing room. And I know Coach Kirk would appreciate that as well.
And when you all score in the first quarter this Friday night, we're all going to chuckle.
Everybody's going to cheer.
He said he was going to do it.
Well, I hope you're right. I hope that
we're not going to chuckle. We're going to be applauding. Really, is what we're going to be doing.
I hope those words don't come back to haunt. But we feel good about our game plan. We feel good about the direction that we're going, and with all parts of the preparation this week, and polished off a pretty good practice today. It wasn't the best practice we've had all year, but it was a pretty solid practice, and need to have a good mental day tomorrow and get ready to go. Again, Bourbon County has a lot of talent.
Right.
They got a young man, wears number 9, I believe his last name is Renfro, that transferred from Knox Central, coincidentally. That is a transfer that is probably their main running back threat. Big kid with good speed. When he gets out in the open field, he can take it. He's a very dangerous threat coming out of the backfield. Kenton Edwards, who is certainly a familiar name to folks who follow us, is now at Bourbon County, and he started 10 out of 11 games for us last year as a free safety, and he's starting at outside linebacker up there for Bourbon this year. And
that's going to be a little weird, isn't it?
And is one, certainly our kids have a relationship with him and a friendship with him dating back to their middle school days, so I'm sure it'd be an opportunity for them to kind of get back to one another. Kenton is also one of 3 quarterbacks that they're playing at Bourbon County right now. In the scrimmage games that we have on film, and the game against Rockcastle, they played all 3 quarterbacks, and actually I think they may have played 5, because I think they played 2 different ones during when their JV went in later on in one of the scrimmages. But Kenton is a really good athlete. He's definitely a threat to run the ball out of the backfield. Pass play breaks down. He's got the ability to contain and really be a threat running the ball. He has clearly been working on passing. As film shows, he's throwing the ball pretty well. Another quarterback that they have, I believe his last name is Hamelbeck. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's definitely in the mix of their quarterback play too, and the other young man, I'm sorry I don't have the roster, but his name is eluding me right now. But they've got a 3 quarterback rotation, and they seem to be playing perhaps who's got the hot hand, or perhaps who they think's the best matchup that particular week. We certainly expect to see Edwards back there at quarterback, coming out Friday night, but they may surprise us.
Right.
But I do think that they're a very talented team, a team that's known for playing good, strong, hard-nosed, aggressive defense. So we've got a test in front of us and a real good chance to kind of hopefully answer the bell. And if our offense is able to get things rolling, we're confident that we are taking the right steps and going to get things rolling. But if we do open it up, in the coming weeks, we're going to do it against some doggone good competition because, Bourbon County Friday night and then Bryan Station the following Friday night and Lexington Catholic the week after that. This is a very critical 3-game stretch here in our pre-district schedule.
Right. Well, you never make it easy.
No.
The schedule's never easy.
No, we can't.
You're right.
For us to be prepared for district play and be prepared, the ultimate goal will be prepared for the playoffs. We have to play the tough competition and quality teams and week in and week out, and hopefully that builds us into the team that we need to be by the end of the year.
That's right. Well, Coach, best of luck. Congratulations on the 14-12 win last Friday night over Lexington's Dunbar team. It was a fantastic win. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed, going to keep knocking on the wood that everyone stays healthy and a big win Friday night.
Absolutely. Yep. Hopefully everything goes well. Look for a big night. Would love to have a big crowd follow us up to Bourbon County. The last time I was at Bourbon County was with the Garrett County team, and it was a pretty hostile environment. Of course, we had built up a pretty good rivalry between Bourbon and Garrett back in those days, and so I would love to take a good, strong crowd with us up on the road. It's a beautiful facility. Adena Springs Field is an outstanding facility. They have a great stadium up there. Looks like from the film they may have done some upgrades. It's an easy trip, so hopefully we'll have a bunch of people come support us. Hopefully the weather will be good. Sounds like it's going to cool off.
I think it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be low humidity, good temps.
Yeah. So all of that plays in it. It's truly becoming football time as far as the weather is concerned, things like that.
That's
so
true.
That always makes it more fun.
That's true. Well, Coach, good luck. We want to thank you for watching, and we've had some fun on the show. We've had some guests, some future Indians walking around tonight. We've had the printer going. We've had some credit card sales going on. So we've had lots of background noise tonight. So we thank you for watching. We thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
All right. And until the next show, I'm Samantha Burford. Thank you for watching the Coach Mark Center Show.
Thanks to our great sponsors, Jack Burford Chevrolet, ExpressRoofing.net, Cumberland Valley National Bank, CSEP, State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goble Agent, Luxury Pet Services, Equipment, Sales and Rentals, May Marketing, KYMedia.net, Real Life Community Church, Time Warner Cable, and Madison County Schools. Hey everybody, be a friend of Madison County School Sports Television on Facebook. MCS TV on Facebook. Log on and like us now.
Hello everyone, I'm Madison County Schools Superintendent Elmer Thomas, and I want to thank you for watching Madison County School Sports Television.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter. Or like us on Facebook, MCS TV. And of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube.